right, welcome back. We are continuing to look at different kinds of components in electronics. For today, let's look at something that you've already worked with. Some time back, you created a circuit using a light dependent resistor, LDR. That's what it looked like. Now, LDRs come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. This one is a fairly common one. I have this circuit board here where you can see the LDR being mounted over here, and if you look at the screen, here's what a simple circuit looks like. This is what you already simulated earlier. You had a fixed resistor and an LDR forming a potential divider, and then you connected the output to an Arduino Nano, which allowed you to measure the change in resistance of the LDR as the light intensity was increased or decreased on the LDR. So basically, LDRs in that sense will have a couple of specifications that you need to think about. One is, what is its physical size? Sometimes you want a really tiny one. If you're trying to build, let's say, a night lamp that turns on an LED in the evening and turns it off during the day, you don't need a lot of light intensity or a big size to do it. But there might be other special cases where you might want a larger LDR. So one is size, of course. The other is, what is its on resistance and off resistance. Now, usually the websites will sort of specify this, and it helps to know those values so that you can then calculate what should be the value of the other resistor in the potential divider that you are using, so that the signal that goes to the microcontroller has enough range. So let's say that using a particular value of resistor, you are getting the output from the LDR that varies from 0 to just 1 volts because the resistor is not the right value. So you can change and kind of tune the value of R1 that's shown in this diagram, the other fixed resistor that forms the potential divider for the LDR, and make sure that the voltage range that you get from low light to high light or darkness to light, you get a sufficiently wide output voltage range so that your Arduino is able to make a more precise measurement of the actual light intensity. So that's a little bit important to think about. But other than that, LDRs are pretty simple devices. These are also known as photoconductive cells or cadmium cells, because they used to be built from a material called cadmium, although now because of safety regulations they have to use different materials for this. But this isn't the only light sensitive device that you can get. We have already looked at a light emitting diode which emits light, and you've seen regular diodes, but you can also get light dependent diodes or photodiodes. So basically they sort of, the current through the diode, the leakage current through the diode changes depending on the ambient light or the light falling on the diode. So they kind of look similar to this, but they are basically diodes, and you can use them to measure light intensity, and quite often they are much more precise and accurate, and you find them in, for example, appliances like, let's say, a camera. A camera might have a photodiode to measure ambient light, for example. And then you can also get a phototransistor, which is basically a transistor that can measure light intensity. So there's various kinds of light measurement or light sensing devices besides an LDR that you can think of. But this is, of course, the most simplest and the easiest to use. So that's about it all for today. See you later.